Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to a deep dive into horror television. Tonight we're taking a look at the first segment of the pilot episode of Night Visions, an exceptional show that you should watch in full if you haven't already. Will Night Visions' pilot episode make a good first impression? Stick around to the end to find out. In the opening, we meet our central character, Jeremy Bell, played by Aidan Quinn. He's at the site of an airplane accident. We see debris littered along the forest floor as the paramedics swoop in to greet Jeremy. They suspect he's a victim in the accident, but we find out Jeremy is the investigator in charge. He's with an agency that handles this sort of thing, which surprises the paramedics that he got there so quickly. But what really throws them off is what's up in a tree. Everyone agrees that the chances they find anyone alive are highly unlikely, but they still thoroughly search the crash site. Jeremy leaves the forest. He has business to attend to, but in his travels he stumbles into a familiar face. He's bombarded by the press as he enters a room. Once he's up to the podium, he relays what he knows to the public, which is pretty much nothing. He does a good enough job and carries on. Jeremy goes back to his room for a very stiff drink. A woman is at his door. Lily Vanderwoodson? No, wrong show. This is Marilyn, and she's played by the divine Kelly Rutherford. Marilyn is looking for information. She had family on board this plane, and she knows the chances of finding anyone alive are unlikely, and now she's riddled with grief. She lands a fat smooch on Jeremy. Jeremy's needed down at the plane crash now, so he heads back down to look at pieces from the wreck. So he's looking around, and just so you know, I'm not too cool for a thumbs up. If you could spare a like or a subscribe in this creator economy, thank you so much. Jeremy calls his daughter's house. Her roommate picks up, and it's a strange conversation that leaves us with more questions than answers. Everything in this episode has an off feel to it. He doesn't know what to think. Was his daughter on the plane? I imagine as a person who investigates plane crashes, he must have a lot of anxiety about his loved ones and planes. Right? Well, he heads into what they call the carnage tent, and Jeremy's acting increasingly loony.
You know, young people today, you'd think they'd have some sense of fashion. They're all slobs. I got a daughter in college, she's got a little metal ball stuck in her tongue. That's supposed to be attractive. Shut up!
We learn there's an extra arm on board, so in other words, we have body parts that exceed the passenger list. Jeremy thinks it was his daughter, but the coworker clears it up for us. His daughter died 2 years ago, so that's impossible. So Jeremy's having a tough time getting a grip on himself. He lays in bed and notices a big crack in the ceiling, and also a crack in the mirror. There's a knock on his door, which he checks out, and it's his smoochy buddy from this morning. Marilyn brought him a cake, and she wants to thank him. Her entire family died on the plane on their way to her mother's funeral. Can you believe that? Wow. These two are instantly connected. They're deeply grieving, so it's nice they found each other. The creepy coroner from before calls and asks him to come down. They ID'd the missing body. As he goes to open the body bag, Amanda, his suspected dead daughter, calls him. This doesn't make sense, but let's take a look. It's him. He wakes up on a plane next to Marilyn. They share a bit of small talk about their families. The flight attendant fixes them a drink, and strangely enough, Jeremy has a broken glass. Then he notices that she's reading a book that he found on the plane before. He looks up and spots what will eventually kill them all, a deep crack in the roof of the plane. Within seconds, the plane opens up and everything goes straight to hell. He watches Marilyn fly out to her death. We hear Jeremy's beeper going off in the scattered debris of the plane. Yeah. So I'll give this one a 7 out of 10 for the show Night Visions. It's pretty good. It's a good watch for sure. I think you should watch it. The segment appeared well funded and looked really good. I'll give it that. I was impressed with how believable and neat the plane crash and the plane itself were. It looked really great. Between the creepy liminal space of the carnage tent to the plane itself, I was happy with every set location. It lost points for me with the story. It's kinda wonky, and not my favorite, to be honest. I'm not sure I like the story style at all. It felt unsatisfying and all over the place. What I liked a lot about the episode is its tone, which was very well presented. The lighting and color were effective storytelling tools, and the filmmakers who made this were no slouches. It was technically very sharp and well put together. That's all I have for you on this one. But thanks so much for joining me today. I've covered nearly every segment of Night Visions, and I'm sure I'll cover more sooner rather than later. So please subscribe if you enjoy my takes on horror television. Be well and stay spooky.